we were in shock. You know, I could barely drive home, you know. I can't.
I mean, it must be really hard.
It is.
$307,000, their entire life savings, wired away 2 weeks before they ever sat at the closing table, to criminals who sent one convincing email pretending to be their real estate attorney. And when William and Nancy Skogg arrived at closing to buy their dream home on the river, the money was not there. It was gone. Already moved through criminal accounts. Already untraceable, already lost forever. The tears started flowing, because there was nothing left to do but cry. Stay right here, because by the end of this video you are going to understand exactly how this scam works, why it is one of the fastest growing financial crimes in America, and the one phone call that cost nothing and could have saved everything. If you leave before this video ends, you leave without the one piece of information that protects your family. So do not move. Meet William and Nancy Skogg, a couple from Wilmington, Illinois. They had spent their entire working lives saving, building toward one dream: a house on the river, a retirement they had earned, a home that represented everything they had worked for together. They found it. They made the offer, they went through the entire purchase process, and 2 weeks before closing, they received an email with wire transfer instructions. The email looked real because it was designed to.
We sent the money, we sent it like 2 weeks before is what we were told to do.
Their entire life savings. Not part of it, not most of it. Every single dollar they had saved across a lifetime, gone in one wire transfer because one email looked exactly like it came from their attorney. And here is what makes this scam so uniquely devastating compared to almost every other financial crime we have covered. The Skoggs did nothing wrong. They did not click on a suspicious link. They did not respond to a cold call from a stranger. They did not enter their information on a fake website. They followed instructions that appeared to come from their own attorney. At the exact moment in a real estate transaction, when receiving wire transfer instructions is completely normal and expected. They were not tricked because they were careless. They were tricked because the criminals were flawless. So how did the criminals do it? How do you create an email so convincing that a couple wires their entire life savings without a single moment of doubt? The answer involves a level of preparation that most people never imagined possible. The scammers used spoofing technology to make the email appear to come from the real estate attorney's actual email address. Not a similar address, not a slightly misspelled version, the exact address. But that was just the beginning. The email contained an attachment with the attorney's real letterhead, the real address of the title insurance company, the exact balance owed at closing, detailed wire transfer instructions, copied signatures from the actual lawyer and real estate professionals involved in the transaction. Every single detail. Accurate, real, stolen from legitimate documents.
It's $307,000 gone.
Perfect. That is the word used to describe what the criminals produced. Perfect letterhead, perfect signatures, perfect amounts, perfect instructions. The only crack, the only tiny signal that something was wrong, was a few sentences with slightly unusual grammar. That is it. That is the only warning sign between William and Nancy Skogg and losing $307,000. Poor grammar in a few sentences. And I want you to sit with that for a moment, because the implication is enormous. If you received an email at the most stressful and exciting moment of buying a home, an email that came from your attorney's exact address, contained official letterhead, had the right balance, the right title company, the right signatures, would you stop to analyze the grammar? Most people would not. Most people did not. And the FBI says this crime is growing drastically because most people cannot tell the difference. If this video is already showing you a scam you never knew existed, subscribe right now. Every week we cover real cases like this one, because knowing these threats exist is the first line of defense. Subscribe. 2 seconds. It might save someone you love a lifetime of savings. Now let me explain exactly how the criminals got all of that information, because understanding this is critical. Somewhere in the chain of the Skoggs real estate transaction, a criminal gained access to real documents, real closing information, real email communications between attorneys, title companies, and buyers. The FBI says in cases like this, investigators examine every party involved: the real estate attorney, the realtor. Any one of them could have been the point of intrusion. Any one of their email systems could have been hacked, or their communications monitored to harvest the exact details needed to build a convincing fake. The Skoggs did not have to be hacked themselves. The criminals just needed to compromise one link in the chain, one email account, at one firm that had access to all the details of their transaction. And then they waited. They waited for the moment in the transaction when wire transfer instructions would be expected, when receiving a wire transfer email would feel routine, when the excitement of closing would make scrutiny the last thing on anyone's mind. Then they struck. That timing is not luck. These criminals are specifically monitoring real estate transactions and targeting the closing window. The FBI confirms it. Scammers are trolling for closings, watching for the moment a wire transfer is coming, and inserting their instructions at exactly the right moment. And the Skoggs daughter, watching her parents lose everything, did something extraordinary. She bought the house for them. Think about that. A daughter watching her parents stand at a closing table with tears running down their faces and no money left, and stepping in so they would not lose the dream they had worked their entire lives to reach. That is love, and it should never have had to happen.
As soon as they said it, the tears started flowing because I thought, what are we going to do?
Devastated. That is the word. Not surprised, not frustrated, because this was not just money. This was the retirement they had planned, the security they had built, the future they had earned together over an entire working lifetime. All of it destroyed by one email, sent by criminals who never met them, never spoke to them, and targeted them purely because their real estate transaction made them a lucrative target at a vulnerable moment. Now let us talk about exactly what you must do to make sure this never happens to you or anyone you love. Because there is one rule, one simple step, that costs absolutely nothing, takes less than 5 minutes, and would have saved the Skoggs everything. Here is the rule, the only rule that truly protects you from this scam. Before wiring any money, ever, for any reason, call your attorney or title company directly at a number you already have. Not a number from the email, not a number from any document attached to the email, a number you found yourself from a source you independently verified, and verbally confirm every single digit of the wire transfer instructions. That is it. That is the entire defense. Because this scam cannot survive a phone call. The moment you pick up the phone and call the real attorney, who will tell you they never sent that email, the scam collapses instantly. Every layer of sophistication, every stolen letterhead, every copied signature, all of it becomes worthless the moment you make that one call. The criminals know this, which is why they work so hard to make the email feel so complete and so official that the thought of calling to verify never occurs to you. Why would you call to verify something that is already so clearly legitimate? That psychological engineering, the manufactured completeness that kills your impulse to double-check, is the most dangerous part of this entire scam. Here are the additional protections you must know. 1. If you receive any wire transfer instructions by email during a real estate transaction, treat it as suspicious automatically, regardless of how legitimate it looks, regardless of whose address it came from. Call and verify, every time. 2. Ask your real estate attorney and title company at the very beginning of your transaction, before anything else, how they will communicate wire transfer instructions and what their verification procedure is. Set the expectation early so you know exactly what legitimate communication looks like. 3. If you have already wired money and something feels wrong, contact the FBI immediately at ic3.gov. The FBI says if you report within 72 hours, there is some hope of recovery. Every hour of delay reduces that chance. Do not wait for confirmation that something is wrong. The moment doubt enters your mind, call. 4. Ask if you can use a cashier's check instead of a wire transfer at closing. Depending on the amount, this may not always be possible. Some states legally require wire transfers above certain amounts. But asking the question early gives you options. 5. Ask every company involved in your transaction whether they carry cyber insurance. This is new territory and most companies are not yet required to have it. But knowing whether coverage exists could be the difference between partial recovery and total loss if their systems were the point of intrusion. The FBI is working the Skoggs case. Investigators are examining the servers of every party involved, searching for the point of intrusion, trying to determine who was hacked, how the criminals got in, and what access they had. But the honest truth, the truth the FBI acknowledges, and the truth every victim of this scam has to live with, is that recovery is rare. Wire transfers move fast. Criminal networks move money across multiple accounts and jurisdictions within hours. By the time an investigation gains traction, the money is almost always gone. The Skoggs' only slim hope rests on an insurance claim. If the investigation determines which business was hacked and whether that business carries cyber coverage. A slim hope. After a lifetime of savings, because one email had perfect letterhead and slightly awkward grammar.
This is what retirement's about.
But now verify with a known contact by phone before wiring money. That sentence, from investigators who have seen this crime destroy family after family, is the entire protection in 11 words. A phone call, before the wire, to a number you already have. That is it. That is the wall between a dream home and a financial catastrophe. William and Nancy Skoggs spent a lifetime saving $307,000. They were weeks away from the retirement they had earned. And one email that looked perfect and came at exactly the right moment, took everything. Share this video with anyone who is buying a home, with anyone in the middle of a real estate transaction right now, with anyone whose child or parent or friend is about to close on a property. Because right now, as you are watching this, somewhere a couple is checking their email. Closing instructions have arrived. The wire transfer amount is exactly right. The letterhead is perfect. The attorney's signature is right there at the bottom. And they are about to wire their life savings without making one phone call first. Before you go, watch the next video on this channel, because the Skoggs received a fake email during a real estate transaction. The next case we cover, the victim never received a suspicious email, never clicked a link, never made a wire transfer. A criminal simply called their bank and walked out with everything. Because in that case, the scam did not target the victim at all. It targeted the institution protecting them. And every defense you just learned today would not have stopped it. If you think you now know enough to protect the people you love, watch that next video. Because financial crime has more entry points than most people ever imagine. Subscribe, because the next target does not know they are a target yet. Neither did the Skoggs.